Okay, Brent Swallow here, back with a second mini lecture on information technologies for AREC 173 for this week of November 30th to December 4th. Okay, so I ended off the first mini lecture by talking about application of big data and information and communication technologies in agriculture and food. So I talked about uses on farm, uses in the value chain, and then uses which are more generally for the public good aspects of food and agriculture. Now I want to talk about four key issues about the key social issues that come up in these applications. So one challenge is about digital divides. And in the final slide, I give a definition of digital divide about essentially who has access to information communication technologies and the internet, where those might be kind of availed. Every time we create a new technology that has potential application, it may create a new form of digital divide. This is a preoccupation of the big data platform of the Consultative Group in International Agriculture. And I advise you to go, and if you're interested in this topic, I advise you to go to the CGIAR website, big data, and I should be bigdata.cgiar.org. They think about both push and pull approaches to share information. So providing information as short message services through mobile phones, which are not smartphones, using push technology. So that could be, say, a weather forecast if there's inclement weather coming. It could be a price that the farmer might be interested in, say an input price or an output price if they want to sell their vegetables or their livestock at new markets. So it might be that type of thing. Or there might be pull approaches to share information where the farmer is able to go to a certain repository of information and get the information that they want. And both of those things are being used. What we see in many developing countries is a possibility for ICT technologies to be leapfrog technologies. That is, sort of jump over a phase of development that other agriculture systems in other parts of the world have gone through with, say, machine approaches, jump over that. So one of them is a leapfrog technology is just cell phones themselves that jump over the dependence on landlines. Landlines have been very problematic in many places because they rely on copper wire, and copper wire is valuable and can be sold. And so people would steal wire from telephone lines. So cell phone technologies are much more secure in that way, and in being decentralized to the cell phone towers, and everyone having their own ability to receive that information. Another leapfrog technology might be blockchain in some applications. So blockchain is a way of having a transaction that is very, very secure. Blockchain has a variety of applications in, we think about it as a part of cryptocurrency, the security of cryptocurrency, but it also can be used to secure transactions, big and small, because it has very low cost once it's set up. So it could be big transactions like land to secure the clear ownership of land in land registries, or it can be used even to facilitate transactions between, say, fair trade coffee growers in Kenya and fair trade coffee buyers elsewhere in the world. And another leapfrog technology is this idea of farmers being able to cut out, kind of not be so reliant on extension workers who as information providers, but be able to source that information themselves. So that's a big thing, is how do we narrow these digital divides? There are technical solutions. There's also places where we see possibilities for companies to invest, who have a social conscience, invest in different types of technologies for the developing world. And organizations like the Gates Foundation are interested in these. Another area is about data sovereignty. Question about who owns data. To what extent are we worried about the privacy of data? And to what extent do we give up that privacy? So we know that that's something that happens every day. Whenever anyone uses Facebook, for example, they are opening themselves up to their data being used by others and being available to others, or to benefit others. And it could be just simply through marketing or through some less favorable use of data. There's questions, is data, for example, that is used in precision agriculture in Alberta, is it owned by the farmer? Or has the farmer, when they started to use the technology, have they inadvertently signed over the rights to their data to the company that provide the sensors? A company like John Deere, that is a front runner in use of sensors in agriculture equipment. Is it the property of the company that helps them interpret the data? And there's a whole variety of extension companies that do that now. Is it something that for regulatory purposes also is available to the government, and what might the government do with those data? So there's a lot of attention now to things like the wording of end user license agreements. Farmers are advised to read those carefully to understand what they're getting into. On the flip side, some sharing of that data might be to their benefit if sharing their data allows, say, better monitoring of disease outbreaks. They may want their data to be shared as, say, part of crowdsourcing of information. They also might want to share data if it helps get more finer grained recommendations on the kind of inputs that they should use. So farmers should have to see this as kind of balancing benefits and costs. A third key issue is about it carries on from that, is what's the benefits of open data? So if farmers know that their data is not, have accepted their data isn't only private, should they make it open so that anyone can use it and everyone can learn from it and innovate with it, because there are benefits from that? Or should they think about just data sharing, where there's just a certain number of agencies or organizations that can get access to their data, and you can understand what those may be used for. So this is a key issue, say in the food and agriculture sector. Data sharing has been much more open. There's been much more openness to data sharing than there has been to open data. Data sharing means also that you have the possibility of a small group of companies to get the lock on data. Open data might allow more broad general access. So it might be part of, data sharing might be part of sort of further digital divide, where open data might help to reduce digital divides. Fourth social issue is what's the potential for data to be misused or manipulated to commit fraud? So for example, we know that many of our food products have a variety of credence attributes. We're reliant upon the data that goes with that product. What's the possibility that data will be manipulated as part of food fraud? Can data be used to undermine companies? So could a food company be experience a cyber attack that would, and false data be be provided about it, or data falsely disclosed to the public that would undermine the reputation of the company? Could that even be used to undermine the reputation of a country and its food sector, or to gain a competitive advantage? And what are the possibilities to limit misuse? So there's lots of concern about this at the international level, and it is attracting attention from organizations in the United States. For example, like the Department of Homeland Security recently did a review of the food and agriculture sector and saw the kind of a whole number of ways that the sector was vulnerable to this types of food fraud or malign intention. And an interesting one is, final, a smaller one, I guess, is what's the potential that the new software and sensors which are developed for the agriculture and food sector might be used outside. So it might be used, say, in the health sector, which we might appreciate, but it may even be used in military applications. And I heard recently about a Canadian company whose software was being used as part of a military operation by Russia against the Ukrainians. So this is, kind of part and parcel of this. And some of this is impossible to stop, but what can be stopped and what new scrutiny needs to be provided. So that wraps up this lecture. I just like to bring your attention to this set of definitions, which almost all of which I used, but I thought might be useful for you to have in one place to see kind of see how what those concepts mean. I'm going to stop sharing. So that brings to an end this second mini lecture from today, and this brings to the end all of the lectures for AREC 173 for this year.